Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome all to once again another session of Happy Hours of Coaching. My name is Ashutosh, and today I'm very pleased to have the very renowned personality in the world of Agile coaching, Sanjeet Bhattacharya. And he's going to talk about a very interesting topic, a very relevant topic, a very contemporary topic. I think we all have been hearing this as a buzzword, right? And he definitely has got some ideas about the art of prompt engineering for agile teams. So without any further delay, I would like to hand over to basically Sanjit, and welcome once again, Sanjit, to this Happy Hours of Coaching session. And I'm sure our community and people here are quite excited to hear your thoughts and learn about the art of prompt engineering. So I hand it over to you for driving this session.
All right. Thank you so much, Ashutosh. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to everyone, depending from the geolocation that you're joining. And before we begin, I would like to thank Ashutosh for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this wonderful series that he hosts. And I have been following this for long. And trust me, if I don't know who all are old timers in this session, but if you are coming for the first time, you will definitely want to come back again. All right. So let us quickly jump into the topic. Okay. So, but I'll just take a couple of seconds to introduce myself before we do that. So my name is Sanjeet Bhattacharya. I'm a agile transformation and delivery consultant, and I work in an organization called Zebia IT Architects. And I have close to 18 plus years in the industry, and I lead as of now, I'm leading transformation engagement in the country of Saudi Arabia. So I'm talking to all of you from there. All right. So let us jump into the topic. So prompt engineering, I am very confident that this will not be something which is absolutely new to everyone, because it is the age of AI. Okay. And prompt engineering is something which we all do. And when we actually progress into the session today, you will know that you have been doing prompt engineering for a long time, even without knowing it. Okay. So prompts could be of any types. We'll talk about more about that. But I assume that each and everyone present in this session knows what AI is. Don't worry, if it is a new term to you and you're interested in knowing, you'll get that information as well. All right, so let us get started. And if at any point in time you're not able to hear me, not able to see me, or the presentation gets stuck, please drop a message so that I know that. Okay, all right. So let's start by setting some expectations. So why are we here? What can we expect today? First thing that you can expect from today's session is that you will have the ability to appreciate and differentiate between discriminative AI and generative AI. So this is very important. We will spend some quick few minutes on discriminative AI, because without a clear understanding of that, it is difficult to appreciate how strong or how helpful generative AI is. The next thing is to know how you can iteratively write better prompts, okay, from any of the generative AI tools that you have been using or might start using after this session. And the next is that you will be able to use generative AI. See, everyone would have been using generative AI. I am assuming that, yeah. But this session will enable you to use it more ethically, more responsibly once this session is done. That will be my goal that I would want to achieve once this session is done. So essentially, you will become an advanced prompt creator after this session. All right. So let's dive right into what is discriminative AI. Oh, before that, how many of you have seen this? A lame question, right? Everyone knows what this is. Okay. So, why we talk about this before we jump into discriminative AI is because, has any one of you seen any of these things? I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have used at least one of them, if not all. The first is, of course, the ever popular Alexa by Amazon. The second is the Google AI Assistant, or the Google Assistant as we popularly call it. And the third one is Siri. Every Apple user knows it, or the iPhone user knows it. Yeah. So what are these things? How are they even related to the topic today? These are tools that will use the login details, geolocation, any instruction that you've given in the past, and they have certain other plugins and certain other sources from their database and will help you to come up with some results. Now, you know what is important in this whole text or whole line? It is not the login details, it's not the geolocation, but it is whatever information you as an individual have given. That is something which triggers the entire process. We'll talk more about it when we get into details. And let's also see a couple of more things. I'm very confident that all of us have used one of these or all of these three things which you see on your screen right now. Of course, online shopping is a big thing today. So Amazon, of course, most of us have used. Facebook, well, I'm not that active, but yes, I have an account at once upon a time. And YouTube, who doesn't know about that? So what do these things do? How do these applications operate? There are algorithms, huge algorithms running in the background without even us knowing about it. They will use your browsing history and the data that you have provided. You know, whenever you open the application, it will show you, recommended for you. And if you are logged into your Google account and you open the YouTube, it will suggest some kind of content to you. Whereas the same content, it won't suggest to me, or it won't suggest to Ashutosh. Each of us will have a different set of recommendations being given by the engines that are supporting these applications. So how do they do that? They do that using a simple thing called machine learning. We'll talk about that later. Let's jump into discriminative AI. So we all know that we have been using AI, right? Now that point has been established somewhat. So discriminative AI can just identify things, whether a certain set of data points or a criteria is being met or not. And what does that mean? That means, let me show you an example. This is something which we all have done, a selfie. And most of the, I would say, I believe almost all the our phone cameras in today's time will have a feature of face recognition. Okay, so what is that feature? Essentially, it is a discriminative AI feature. Now, have you ever thought that in if you take a selfie, okay, and you are show a picture of some a person in the photograph with you. Let's say you are standing and you show a picture like this. The camera or the lens of the camera will detect that also as a person. Face recognition will work there as well. So it's not actually able to differentiate whether it's a live human being or it's a photograph. All it is doing, it is validating whatever it is seeing. It is validating with certain set of data points. What are those data points? Okay, this looks like a pair of eyes, a nose, lips, and well, this looks like a human face, some hair or without hair, whatever. And then it suddenly pops up that box around your face, and we call it face recognition. It's actually using a discriminative AI in the background, which is helping you to helping the processor of the camera identify the faces, and basis that that particular area is smoothened, it's enhanced, the other areas are blurred, and all that stuff happens, right? So it's pretty nice, and we have been using it for a long time, but there are some challenges. What are the challenges? The challenges are that it cannot understand context. Oops, sorry. Okay, so it cannot understand context. Okay. So it does not know how to interpret that photograph. Like I said, it cannot differentiate between a photograph and a real human being. It cannot generate new content. It will only give you results basis the database that it has, but it cannot process that database to come up with a new content which is being generated for the first time, right? It cannot suggest you pattern, and it will only mimic the amount of cognitive skills and analytical skills that it has been taught. Okay. So again, that generative AI also uses a similar thing, but generative AI has the capability of understanding the context, understanding a persona, understanding and creating a new content. We'll talk about that. So that is how what discriminative AI is, and how it is. It has certain limitations. Having said that, discriminative AI is here to stay. Please don't misunderstand me when I say discriminative AI is not really that powerful. Discriminative AI will stay because discriminative AI is actually powering generative AI to some extent. Okay. All right. So let us jump into what is generative AI now. I just use the short form Gen AI. That's how we know it, right? So what is this generative artificial intelligence? So, we have heard of a very popular tool, which I believe all of us might have used, which is ChatGPT by OpenAI. So what is this GPT? This GPT stands for generative pre-trained transformers. So these generative AI basically works with some engines or pre-trained transformers in the background, which help generate some content basis the input that you give to that engine. And it, of course, helps us to ease our tasks and repetitive things, which we will see some hands-on things today. And we will kind of try to appreciate how generative AI can make lives easier for us. All right, so these are various tools. You all have heard about these. We can use it in the form of text. As I said, generative AI and or prompt, as we know it, is not only text that we type. It could be images. It could be stuff related to marketing. So these are tools that are used for marketing or copywriting. And these are, of course, something which our developer friends use as a part of generative AI-based coding. So what are the applications? There are a lot of areas. It's just unimaginable that to what extent generative AI has got into our lives. First, of course, is software applications. Second is your education. Now, education, I really love this app called Duolingo. As I said, that I am in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for the last almost 5 months. So this has really helped me to understand and learn the basics of communicating in the Arabic language in the country, which is very, very helpful, right? So again, how does it do it? It uses generative AI. Next is banking and finance. Now, this is a very, very crucial place where generative AI is being used, and it is actually something called GANs, we call it GANs in banking, which is generative adversarial networks, which is used for auto risk and fraud detection, right? There are a lot of things. I can get into a little more detail here that, when you do any transaction, and these days I have noticed that I was in India for a short time last month, and I noticed that I made a transaction of almost 50,000 Indian rupees, and immediately a message was triggered. A message was triggered to me, but the person whom I made that payment to, he did not receive the money. Before that, an automated message was triggered to me saying on my WhatsApp as well as on my SMS saying that a transaction of this much amount has been initiated. Please click 1 to accept or 2 to report fraud. I typed 1 and hit the send button. It did not stop there. Now look at the layers of authentication they are building in using generative AI. Then an automated call was triggered. Okay. So it was a call coming from some name. I didn't have the number, which I could very well understand. It's a robotic call. Okay. So by mistake, I rejected the call. Now look at the layers of authentication and security that this thing has enabled. Now I rejected the call by mistake, knowing that it was from bank. I rejected by mistake. The transaction did not sail through. Okay. 20 minutes from there, I asked my friend, did you get the money? He said no. Then within like 5 minutes, I got that call again from that AI tool that they were using, right? I picked up the call. It was a recorded message which said that you have made a transaction to this account at this time, this date. So this much is the amount. Please press 1 if you accept the transaction, and 2 to report a fraud. Okay. Only when I clicked 1 for the second time, the transaction happened. I'm not saying this will happen for every transaction, but since they noticed that, this account was not being used for transferring money for quite a long time, and all of a sudden, a huge chunk of money is being moved, we better get it verified. So there is an algorithm, which is a GAN, which is working in the background and trying to figure out these things. Imagine what would have happened if a manual team was put in place to monitor all of this. There was a risk of data security. There was a risk of human error. And there is a risk of delayed transactions, which will lead to bad customer experience. In fact, to begin with, even I was a little, upset that what is this, man? Why are they doing this? Then I suddenly realized, because I also design softwares for banks. So I realized this is a two-factor authentication for an account where a transaction has not been done for a long time. And that is when I appreciated the power of the GAN that is supporting that particular bank. There are more applications to generative AI, for example, medicine, HRM. Now, HRM is again one thing, and I am yet exploring this area. It is absolutely mind-boggling how AI is changing how HR teams, both in HRD and HRM, are working all across the world using AI tools, right from onboarding to, forget about onboarding, filtering of resumes in a much better way. Because see, earlier we had tools, okay, which you used to filter basis some criteria. But the problem is the tools work best only when your resume is structured in a particular way. The margin of error for those tools were higher. But now there are tools, for example, Attract.ai, which are really good at filtering resumes. Okay. Now, then there are tools like Paradox and all, which will be helping you to onboard people, to do the entire onboarding journey seamlessly. Okay. In fact, to initiate background verifications also, AI is being used nowadays. Okay. All right. So we have talked a lot about AI. Okay. Generative AI. Now, before we jump into what is a prompt, I would want to let all of you know that this particular session, we will be focusing only on text-based generative AI. Because, at the beginning, I showed you generative AI could be text, it could be image, it could be videos, it could be a lot of more things. But for the purpose of today's session, we will focus only on text-based generative AI. So when we talk about any form of generative AI, not only text-based, the thing that initiates any sequence of content generation is called a prompt. Okay, so what is a prompt? It is an input that produces the desired output using a pre-trained transformer, generative transformer, or a GPT engine. Okay, for example, you want to write a paragraph for your favorite holiday. So let's say you went to Shimla, for example. You want to write, okay, and you want to publish that as a blog. I'm not saying just copy paste it. We'll talk about that in a short while from now. So what you can do is, okay, I give me a paragraph of less than say 200 words about a holiday in Shimla. So you can also add certain things like include this, don't include that, and so on. You can also write a small piece of code. Okay. And I gave this example because we have actually used this, writing an HTML code to generate a drop-down selection of cities within an online form. Just to check whether how smart the tools are. And trust me, we did not use IBM Watson or GitHub Copilot. We just used a simple text-based generative AI for this. Okay, as I promised you that we'll be restricting ourselves to text-based generative AI, which is freely available to each one of us. You don't need to have a subscription to any of the other tools. Okay, all right. So it can also be a series of instructions. Now, there could be a scenario where you've asked a question to a generative AI or you've given a prompt. Now, this prompt may give you some result which may or may not be of your choice of or the output. Okay. So now you can ask a series of questions. How? For example, first question you can write a point-wise instruction to do an effective discovery workshop. We do a discovery workshop before every project, right? Now it gives you something. Now then you say, what are some challenges faced by the team during the discovery workshop? Now you're preparing yourself for the challenges so that you get to the discovery workshop already aware of these things which might go wrong. Then you also ask, what are the risks that must be considered during this workshop? Similarly, there are a lot more things that can come as a part of your series-based instruction prompts, which can help you to come up with a refined result. Right? All right. So we have been talking about prompts. Let's now see, why do we even use the term engineering? What is engineering here? Okay. So prompt engineering is nothing but the art of drafting the prompt to make the best use of the generative AI tools and get the best possible content generated. Now, I will like to all of you to focus not on the word of tools, not on the word engineering, but on the word art. Trust me, it's an art. And by the end of this session, you will really believe that a good prompt engineering is an art. Well, disclaimer, prompt engineering is not a new field where you can seek jobs as a prompt engineer. I don't know if that will come up in the future, but right now it's not the case. Okay. All right. Prompt engineering. Now, prompt engineering helps you in two ways. Number one, it helps you to get a content. Number two, it helps to train the engine itself. So that's what we are talking about. It is also used to efficiently and effectively train the large language models or the learning management system. It is also able to understand the capabilities, because see, when I say understanding capabilities, don't think about yourself as the end user. Think about yourself as a person who is actually enabling, or a team that is actually enabling the entire, what should I say, the GPTs, all the GPTs. Yeah. So it can also help you improve the type of content or the range or the DB that the GPT has to handle certain complex tasks. Actually, back in our team, we are also trying to develop certain things where we are doing a tremendous amount of iterations to do exactly what is written here. It also improves the safety, and that applies more for sensitive applications like research, medical research, okay, and developing new content for education, which of course is, I believe, is a very sensitive thing, and of course, security and banking. All right. So moving forward, let us now talk. What is a prompt? We have talked about it. What is prompt engineering? We have a fair bit of idea. Now let us see, how does a prompt look like, or what are the components of a prompt? A good prompt will ideally have these four components. First, it will have a question, right? Then second is it will have a contextual text, which will let the GPT know what is the context this question is being asked for. Okay. Third, it will have a guiding pattern. Okay. And the last, it will have some partial example, which will help it understand how the content to be generated is expected to look like. I'm not saying to give the answer, but how is the content expected to look like? Let us see it with an example. Let's say your question is, you need to write a business case. Let's restrict ourselves to this only as of now. So you have been tasked to write a business case. Now your contextual text is OTT platform applications. Something like the Z5 application, Netflix, Prime Video, and all these applications. So you are trying to develop an application and you need to write a business case for that application. Okay. Now the guiding pattern. What is the guiding pattern? Our product should have 4K content for free. Okay, this is your guiding pattern. And then you give an example. Your example is like Netflix and Prime Video. Now, what happens when you give these examples? The GPTs are already trained and they know what Netflix is, what Prime Video is. Okay. Now, let us see how the prompt should look like. Write a business case in less than 500 words for a new OTT platform in Asia Pacific region, which has free 4K content. It has taken these from the first three. This platform would be similar to Netflix, but will have exclusive free features better than the existing platform. Now, when you look at this entire thing, it is not just what I have said in the above lines. For example, I said write a business case, but here I've written write a business case in less than 500 words. It's all customizable. I could have removed that 500 words. It would have still given me a decent result. Okay. Then a new OTT platform, but I did not write, I did add Asia Pacific region. Again, customizable. Anything. Free 4K content, it's already there. And examples it has taken. So when you write this kind of a prompt, that is when you get a desired result, right? But a word of caution here, when you actually use any text-based generative AI tool, trust me, whenever you put a prompt for a huge content, for example, and why I am talking about this right now is because we are talking about writing a business case, which is going to be pretty huge. Okay, at least 500 to 1000 words. So now when you are actually doing it and when it comes up with the first cut result, trust me, it will look mind-blowing. It will look wonderful. You'll say, wow, where was I till now? This is exactly what I want. Plus, but I would request you, please hold your guns, go through it. You'll find out a lot of things that need a lot of iterations and lot of HI. Okay, to improve. What is HI? HI is nothing but human intelligence. It will need a lot of HI to help that AI to come up with a real good business case. Okay, well, we will see that in some practical examples in a short while from now. Let's move forward. So let us understand how does your prompt work. Now we are getting into details. When you start writing your prompt, let's say you write a prompt here. Okay, now what happens? When you first thing that happens is your information is collected by the GPT. Second is that some inferences are derived. You remember we gave a lot of information. We gave that it should be less than 500 words for the Asia Pacific region only. It should look like this. It should be that. It should contain this and all that. And from the inferences, it will give you content which is based on the pre-trained inferences. Now this is where both discriminative and generative AI come together. And trust me, once you get a content and you do not give any other follow-up prompt to your system or to your tool that you've been using, that particular content is again used to train the engine, and this cycle goes on for other users or you yourself when you come to use the tool once again, right? So this is essentially how a prompt works in the background. I will not get into the technology part of it, but this is how it works. Now, why is there such a hue and cry about prompt engineering? What is the big deal about it? Why are we even having a separate session on this? It's simple. I mean, write prompts and you're not satisfied with the answer. You just change the prompt, right? I will tell you, it is not only about you. It's also about the various ways in which the model is enhanced. Okay. And that is why the more you collaborate with the tool itself, these are certain things why prompt engineering is important. Now, when I talk about these, I'm not talking about a end user who is only interested in getting a new content generated. I'm talking about the team that is coming together to do prompt engineering. Now you will say, oh, then why am I interested? Why should I be interested? I am only interested in the end result. Show me how do I do it to get better results? We'll come to it. We're almost there. We'll come to it in a very short while. Please wait and bear with us till then. Well, now this is where we get started with how prompt engineering or prompts can help agile teams. Now, before jumping into it, let us see what are the expectations from agile team. Any agile team. What are the expectations? So, if I can sum up in quick 4 points, these are the 4 expectations. One, you have to keep inspecting your own work. You have always keep adapting to changes. You have to be quick in responding and delivering value faster. More or less, everything that is expected from an agile team is covered in these 4 points. Okay. There could be certain aspects which is not there, but if you are able to, trust me, there are very few agile teams in the whole world who are actually doing all of this. Okay. Well, that's a different topic. Huh? Let's not digress. So these are the basic expectations from an agile team. Now, what are the challenges that generative AI can solve for agile teams? First, it could be a quick starting point for writing a code. It could help you to fix bugs first level. In fact, just before this session started, I was actually doing this. Okay. It could be a quick first level bug fix. It could also help you to write user stories, which is nowadays very popular and very important. It can help you with backlog refinement. We will see a practical example on how to do that. And it could also help you converting a progress document into a good presentation. It could also help you with effective communication, writing nice emails, or let's say when you are actually not able to understand how to convey a difficult message. By the way, this reminds me, a survey says that in the United States, doctors are using generative AI, text-based generative AI to a very great extent. You know why? The maximum use of generative AI being done by doctors is to break a hard news or a tough, difficult news to the patient or their family. They want to know how to break this news to the family. That is effective communication. Okay, so these are certain things where an agile team can leverage text-based generative AI. Now, when we talk about agile prompts and agile teams, we talk about agile teams. These are the 3 roles. We can talk about developers, scrum master, and product owner. Okay, so developers, we have talked a lot about it. We'll talk about scrum masters now. They are innovative facilitation techniques. Okay, there are ideas of how you can improve the communication within the team. There are algorithms which can actually help you to do predictive analysis. Okay, there are many tools that can actually help you do that. If you are a product owner, you can refine your backlog better using text-based generative AI, no fancy tools. Okay, you can do a better business case and persona understanding just by generative AI. So all these things we'll just take down as some practical examples which I will show you. Now let us see how does the prompt creation process work. So the prompt creation process is, first you have to define a goal, then you get into creating an initial prompt, then you test the prompt, and then you see whether you're happy with the result. So you analyze the response, and when you analyze the response, you find it needs refinement. And when you refine it, you get a better result. And if not, you keep on iterating the process. So this is a very simple iterative process of a prompt creation. Okay. Now let us see what are the elements of good prompting. What are the four things? There are four essential elements. Let us quickly go through all of them with an example. Yatiraj, I see you have raised your hand. Is there a question? I'm not sure if you will be able to ask your question right now. I would request you and anyone who wants to ask a question to please reserve your questions. Once we are done, I will be happy to answer to all your questions as much as I can. Yeah, because even I am learning generative AI. So let's quickly go through the four essentials of good prompting. The first thing is clarity. Now, let us take this small example to discuss what clarity is. Read this out. Discuss a culinary process that takes place in the foliaceous stipules of plants with the help of sunlight. Also mention the green thing and how light, air, water important to the aerial parts of the plant looks like. With all due respect, looks like Shashi Tharoor has drafted this prompt. Okay. So I will not be interested in, if I am the GPT, I'll say, man, what is this? Okay. What's a better prompt? What is the problem with this? These are the problem areas. What is culinary process? What is foliaceous stipules? Now see this. Does this look better? It is exactly the same prompt. Okay. Explain the process of photosynthesis. Now the GPT, I know what photosynthesis is. And the green thing is chlorophyll. So when you do all of these things, the clarity of the prompt increases, which is very, very crucial for a good prompt. The second thing is context. As we already talked about in the initial part when we were talking about the structure of a prompt. Okay. Looks like a pretty simple prompt. Write what happened during the outbreak of the Revolutionary War in 1775. Example. Okay. It could give you anything. You may like it, you may dislike it. Now, how can we write it better? Now look at this. Historical event leading to the American Revolutionary War. Also highlight incidents like this. Also tell us that how this led to the Revolutionary War. Now you are giving it context. You're giving it a beautiful context. It can give you better results. So these are the strategic points that you have included. Next, most important part of good prompting, or the aspect of good prompting, is precision. How precise your prompt is. Talk about supply and demand and how it is affected in economics. Now, what supply and demand? Okay, it will still give you a result. And trust me, that result will also look good. Okay, but try this. Explain the supply concept of supply and demand in economics. Describe how an increase in demand will influence. Now, what you're saying is you're being very precise. And you're giving an example like what happened to the smartphone market. Okay, I want my results to be oriented like that. Now, when you say that, these are the areas which the prompt, which helps the GPT to come up with a better content, right? Now, let's quickly see the last criteria of a good prompt, which is a persona pattern. Now, see this. Write a log entry describing strange fauna and flora of an uncharted alien planet. It can write from any aspect, okay? But you are thinking something else while writing this prompt. You are expecting something else. So how will the GPT know about that? Yeah, let's see. This is how the GPT will know about it. Pretend you are an astronaut. You're giving it a persona. Now, the GPT will assume that it's an astronaut and think from an astronaut's point of view. Strange fauna and flora, it can also think from a poet or an author's point of view. But that is definitely not a kind of result that you're looking at. Right? So you want them to think like an astronaut, and that astronaut has landed on an uncharted alien planet, and it has to describe the fauna and flora. And the key thing is that you are seeing unfamiliar sounds. You have a feeling of excitement and curiosity and a hint of apprehension. So all these things will now guide the content that is being generated. Now, a very interesting thing here. If you change this with, feelings of fear and anxiety, the entire content will change that will be generated. That's the beauty, right? So that is how you are actually giving it a persona. Now you also, if you also see, right, that pretend that you are an astronaut who is looking at an alien planet from his spacecraft, the output will be a little more different. Okay, so this is how the four essentials of creating a good prompt work: clarity, content, precision, and persona pattern. All right. Okay, let's quickly move forward and see what are the ways of effectively writing a prompt. So these are the various effective ways: text insertion, Q&A kind of pattern. We, remember we talked about uh, discovery workshop steps. Actually, I had planned to show you live examples of all of these things, but in the interest of time I will just explain them, but I'll show you some live examples of some other interesting things. So you can extract information. For example, if there is a huge paragraph, okay, and you want to show the you want to find out the names of cities from it, okay, maybe a 1000 page line paragraph. Okay, you can just paste it and just say that, give me the names of cities in it. It will actually give you the name of cities. Okay, so that's how it works. Reasoning is, again, for example, it is a positive. You want to check whether the prompt is able to identify between a, or whether not the prompt, but you want to know whether this is a positive review or this is a negative review of a product. Okay, in fact, let me just share my screen quickly and try to show you guys a couple of things here which might be useful. Are you guys able to? Oh, I need to stop my present sharing, right? And reshare it. Please let me know when you are able to see the chat GPT screen. Can anyone please confirm?
Yes, yes, we can see that.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so I went to Delhi with, just bear with me, my family for a vacation. On my way back, we went to Shimla and also to, or what should I say, Jaipur. I love the pickles from Nagpur and snacks from Pune. I love the food from Vancouver and Venice. Okay, now I'll just cut it. Identify the names of cities in this passage. Okay, just make this corrections quickly, otherwise it may not identify. All right, here we go. See this? Now wait. Identify the names of Indian cities in this passage. Now, I actually demonstrated two things here. You see, I did not write the entire prompt all over again because it already has a context. Okay, so it identified all the names of cities. It identified just the name of Indian cities. The problem is right now, when I show this to people, they say, what's the big deal? You could have even read it and told the names before you could have used ChatGPT. Consider this not as a 3-line, but a 3000 line passage. And for some reason, you need to know the names of the cities or the names of whether there are any foreign cities names have been used here. Will you still be faster than ChatGPT? I don't think so. So that is the power. Okay. Now, also another thing, reasoning. Let's say I will give you, now you suppose that you're talking to a human of reviews Tell me if they are positive or negative. Now see how it interacts. See, now it is primed, it is ready to give the reviews. I love the product. See, the review is positive. I hated the packaging. Packaging, that's not. Now, I am not sure about the quality, but it works somewhat. Now see, this is confusing. Let's see how it behaves. See this. It's somewhat neutral or mixed. Okay. So I'll quickly go back to our presentation, which we were talking about. All right. I hope my presentation is back again on your screens. So I just tried to show a couple of ways in which these effective prompting can be used. There are many more ways. You can actually do a Q&A kind of a thing. But you have to first let the GPT know that you're now going to talk in a Q&A pattern. Otherwise, the GPT will not appreciate that. It will not give you good results. Okay. Now, let us quickly take two serious examples how to write a refine a user story. I will again reshare my screen and take you to the GPT. I hope the GPT screen is visible. Now, let's create a new one. And let's say, write a user story for creating a login page for a banking application. Now see what it is doing. It has given you the user story and the acceptance criteria. It has also given you a lot of scenarios. Okay. See, it has given you everything. Okay. Now, I am going to do some refinement. Okay. Can this user story be broken down into smaller stories? Now, the fun part here is that all of this can be done manually also. I'm not saying you blindly just go here. See, there is an option to copy it. Okay. Just copy this and you just then go and, you hit here, this button and put it on your Jira or Azure DevOps board, whatever you use, or Rike. No, that's not the purpose. The purpose is to get a good starting point. Let's see. Now see this. The beauty is, what was the original thing? The original thing was as small as creating a login page for a banking application. But what it has done is it has broken it down into 10 stories. First time, I could not imagine it being broken down into 10 stories. I'm very confident that all 10 may not be acceptable, because for a story to be called a story, there has to be a business benefit out of every story. Sometimes something has to come out as a shippable increment. If not, then it should not be called a story. I mean, all the stories together at least should make sense. So it's just one way how you can actually go ahead and refine your backlog. You can simply, let's say, put the story, refine this story, and tell me if it can be broken down into smaller stories. Now, don't close your prompt here. Each smaller story should have a business benefit to it. Okay. So once you give this, okay, and then you can put your story. If you try this prompt, it has been helping me. It has been helping a lot of other Scrum Masters and the product owners. You will be able to refine your backlog faster. What will it do? It will help you to reduce the time that you spend in your sprint planning sessions. It will help you reduce your backlog refinement session time. So what happens when you reduce time from your activities or from your events or ceremonies, as we used to call them? Simple calculation, you get more time to work. Capacity planning, right? So this is how one beautiful use of ChatGPT, it can help you to get a very decent backlog. Okay, now let us go back to the presentation and see what it has. Okay, we have tried to write and refine a user story. Now the next way, how a team or an individual can leverage is creating a presentation. Now this is a very, very cumbersome thing, let me tell you. Okay, but how much time do you guys think it will actually take to create a presentation from scratch on a unknown, unthought of topic? How much time? If I don't know if I can hear anybody, but can somebody at least predict or say something or type in a chat? I don't know if we see a lot of. So yeah, I see a lot of things. Can somebody type? How much time do you think it should take to create a presentation from scratch on a topic which you have never worked on before? Okay, fine. Let us see how much time it should take. I will share my screen for ChatGPT once again. Now, this is very, very important. So I will create a new chat again. Okay. The ChatGPT screen is visible, right? See, now what I want to do is I will want to create a PowerPoint presentation. But the fun part is I'm trying to write a VBA code. I'm not trying to write, I'm trying to generate a VBA code. Okay. So I will use the word generate for a PowerPoint presentation on the topic. What topic should we say? Okay, let's say aviation in the century. Is that good? I need 10 slides with no placeholders. Use your knowledge and give at least 100 words per slide. Let's see. Okay, Saroja says 1 day. Okay, I got your message, Saroja. Thank you. 1 day to create a presentation from an uncharted territory, I would say. A topic which you have never worked with, right? All right, so you guys see the code here? Yeah? Okay, so what I will do is I am copying the code now. Okay, so I code copied. Now I have to reshare my screen and take you to the PowerPoint. I will open a blank slide. Can someone please tell me if PowerPoint is visible? A blank presentation. Is a blank presentation visible to everyone? Okay, great, great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I got the message. Now let us go to this. I'll do that again. Oops. Okay. Now, here, you go to Visual Basic, you insert a module here, and you remember we copied a code. We'll just paste the code there. Okay. And we will try to run the code. All right. So this is done. Now let us do a quick enhancement to our presentation. Okay. And we are again using AI to do it. Don't worry, it won't take long. Okay, so we are almost here. 7 slides done. Somebody said it is going to take 1 day.
So Sanjay, I think your screen is not visible, actually.
Are you not able to see
Yeah, it's
the
a blank screen
PowerPoint?
only. I think it is hanged there. So maybe we couldn't see the VBA code and all.
Oh, is it? Let me go back to the code then. Please let me know when you can see the VBA code.
And
Yeah.
now we can see, yes.
Okay, great. So what I did is I copied the code from here. Then I went to PowerPoint. Now, please tell me when you can see a PowerPoint slide with a VBA screen.
Yes, now we can see, yes, yes.
Okay. So I pasted the code here. I made the code run. So this is what is generated. Okay. You can see the presentation now.
No, presentation we are not able to see.
Oh, I believe that is gone. So when I run the VBA code, this is what is generated.
Now
You
we
see?
can see, yes, yes.
Okay. So what I do is I put some uh, special touch and special effects here. And this is how your presentation becomes more attractive. And someone said that, it takes 1 day. I do appreciate and agree, because if you are doing it in the conventional way, it will definitely take that much time to create a presentation. I'm not advising you to, really do this every time you make a presentation, but this is a way which can be actually a very good starting point for everyone. Okay. Now see this. Please tell me if the full screen is visible now. Can everyone see this presentation in full screen? Okay, great. Thank you. So this is how I just created this presentation in how much? I think less than 4 minutes. Yeah. Created in less than 4 minutes. You give me a topic or aviation and next industry and don't allow me to use generative AI. I will be lost forever. Although aviation is my domain, I love aviation. I am an aviation enthusiast beyond creating softwares. Okay. But see, okay. So let's move forward. See this. This is what generative AI can do. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, generative AI in action. Everything is generative AI. And the images that you see are discriminative AI. They are reading the lines here, whatever is written, and they are suggesting photographs, images. Right? Okay, let's go back quickly and let's see. And please let me know when you can see the original presentation that we were talking about. If anybody can just say a yes, it will really help. Can you see the original presentation? It should say create a presentation right now. Okay, thank you for the confirmation. Saroja, now let us go ahead. So we talked about how to create a presentation. Now it brings us to the last bit that I would want to talk to you, talk about to all of you, and a very, very important one, which is ethics while using generative AI. Okay. So when we are talking about ethics, we have to keep in mind these simple four things. First is read the entire output. That's the biggest problem that I've seen nowadays. We are in such a pressure at all the time, and generative AI is like my best friend. Every time I am in trouble, it will bail me out. Whatever you want a business case, here it is. You want a good email, nice email to be written, here it is. Now you also know how to make a quick presentation. Okay, so you want a beautiful presentation, here you are. Make a good presentation, but please read the entire content. Check for the inconsistencies or deviations that might have been hidden here and there without you noticing it in detail. Second is fact check. Now you can also use generative AI to create a paper or something, but when it gives facts like so much percentage of thing, or this thing is done, this per money percentage people believe, or this percentage of geographical locations or something, please verify that. Don't just be happy, wow, because when you put facts and numbers, your data seems more authentic. But remember, you are the only person who is to be blamed for any inconsistency in the data that you present. Okay. A very good way to do this, again, using generative AI only, when you have a doubt like this, that this does not look very good, give a follow-up prompt. Please let me know the source of data for the above output. Immediately, it will come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You go to that particular area using our friend Google and see if that is actually what you were looking for, and is the fact which is presented by generative AI's content is true or not. Then evaluate the tone and style. You remember we talked about, when we were talking about that astronaut, we talked about, express your enthusiasm, express your happiness. So that's a style. Express your anxiety. It will change the entire thing. For example, you're trying to write a mail, which is only for the joined trainees in your company. Okay, so you want to get a good starting point that how should I really start driving it? You have to write that this mail is intended, the intended audience of this mail or intended recipients of this mail would be new joinees in the age group of 20 to 22 or 50, or like 15 will be too less, 18 to 24, and keep the tone semi-casual or semi-formal. You see, you'll get a kind of output. Then you get into something like make the tone extremely formal. Immediately, it will change the entire tone, entire way of output that you will get. You will be amazed to see when you do such things on generative AI. And the last point goes without saying, if you don't do this, I don't know what to say. Always proofread what you are doing, what you are giving. Okay. So these 4 things put together, there are many other things that you can actually focus while talking about generative AI, right? We are almost at the end of our time box for the session today. I would have loved to talk more about the ethics of generative AI because this is a topic very close to my heart. I have given a lot of sessions on ethics of generative AI. If Ashutosh allows me, I can do that maybe in a later session some other day. But for today, please at least keep in mind that these four things is really, really very important, especially when you are using text-based generative AI. Also, when you write a code, for example, I just generated a VBA code because I did not verify the code, did not verify the data that the code has published, because the purpose was not that. Purpose was to show you how you can use it, right? But you can actually generate a code, but if you're really using it for something, please make sure you use your HI, your human intelligence, before you completely rely on AI or artificial intelligence. All right. So just before closing, a couple of quick closing notes for all of you here. Remember, AI was created by HI. Don't blindly trust whatever AI generates for you. Train AI, but don't get trained by AI. Don't become an engineer trained by AI. Okay. You still need HI to a lot extent. Maybe in years and decades to come, the scenario would change, right? Because as I heard, the only thing consistent about AI is what am I talking about AI today may not be the truth tomorrow. Okay. Leverage AI. Very important, because if you don't, then you will be levered out very soon. Okay. Now, the biggest and the most important point about generative AI. AI will not take your job, but somebody using AI will. Okay. There's no need to fear AI. There's no need to be afraid that, oh, AI will do this, do that. AI is here to take jobs. Remember, when I don't know how many of you are from that old generation, but I am very confident that Ashutosh will agree to this, that, when we were actually young and computers were getting introduced in every field, we had this apprehension, oh, computers are going to take away jobs, take away jobs. Now see, has computer taken away any jobs? No. It has made people more efficient, faster, right? A design of, let's say, engineering design of a huge building or a huge bridge, flyover, underpass used to take like 2 years, 3 years. Now it is done in like 1 or 2 months. Who does it? Computer softwares. That is what AI is going to do. Something which was now being done with, let's say, 2 months. It will be done in like 2 days or even less, faster. So you're getting introduced to a more efficient world. With this, I close my talk for today. I thank all of you for giving me such a patient hearing. And once again, thank you, Ashutosh, a lot for giving me this opportunity to be able to come on your platform and share my thoughts. Over to you, Ashutosh.
Thanks a lot, Sanjeet. Yeah, I think it was a very interesting session. It was a great session, and I think I personally learned a lot out of it. Okay, unfortunately, yeah, we don't have time for questions. Maybe I will request participants to connect with you. I mean, maybe you can put in.
Definitely.
Yeah,
My apologies, participants. I so
no,
got it.
that's okay. That's okay. I mean,
So,
we were so engrossed
so please feel free to reach
in
me
that
on
session
LinkedIn.
that we
You
actually
can
learned a lot. And definitely, I'm going to try the PPT one. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try the PPT one, the way you basically generated the PPT. So definitely that's one learning which I'm taking from this session. So just a couple of things to all the participants. I'm sharing my screen now. I mean, for more such sessions, this session would go on to this site, which is there, the Agile coaching, the Agile coaching and leadership transformation. So you can just subscribe to that channel in case you're not already subscribed. There's a QR code which is there, and there are plus other channels, other previous presentations also which are there. And as a token of appreciation, we would like to present, Sanjeet, to you a very small token of appreciation. This is from our community for enlightening us, so kindly
thank
graciously
you so much.
accept it. And I'm looking forward for maybe a part 2 of this session as we move along, right? I'm sure, as you said, this might change in next 6 months, right?
Ashutosh,
So
to be honest, this might change tomorrow morning.
yes, yes. So definitely looking for a part 2 of this. Okay.
Thank you.
So
I'll be more than glad to be part of this again.
thanks. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I said I'll be more than glad to be part of this series again.
Sure, sure, sure. So thanks, Sanjit, once again, and thanks, participants, for attending this. And yeah, as I said, please reach out to Sanjit and we will definitely he will take questions from there in the interest of time. Okay. So
Sure.
thanks
And
everyone. And yeah, once again, the thanks for your patronage to Happy Hours of Coaching session. And looking forward for more such sessions in the future with more speakers as we go along. So participants, if you have any interesting speaker to recommend, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to invite. Okay. So thanks a lot. And yeah, happy weekend to all of you. See you all. Yeah. Thank you.
all right. See you all, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye. Yeah.